All right, good evening. It's Alex Odepel, principal at Columbia River High School, and I'm actually at Columbia River High School. It's 11:16 on the 27th of August, and I'm here supporting our Miles at Midnight with the cross-country programs, both the men and the women's teams, led by Dave, Mary, John, and Lisa, are running on the track right now. So I'm broadcasting from the press box in our new stadium. So you hear some joy, music, fun in the background. It's our students having a great time. So it's time for a quick announcement and just some guidance, reminders and guidance. That's what this short presentation is going to be about. I have my notes right here. I'm going to jump right in to a screen share so we can look at a presentation that my trusted friend and colleague Kim Johns helped put together. So thanks, Kim. Opening school and evaluation overview. So we were extremely busy with content on Wednesday and Thursday this week. And we wanted to balance how much information we shared. And it's a lot to take in. Again, the purpose of this is just to give you some just final reminders, and for those who have never had an opening day at Columbia River High School, just to paint that picture. And then long-term, what the evaluation process looks like for certificated teachers in Vancouver Public Schools and at Columbia River High School. So we'll start with the setup. We have so many gifts that come to us from the Link Crew program. Logistically, one of the best for an administrator is the fact that all the at 7 a.m., all the ninth graders will be in the gymnasium. So on that first day, when parents are eager, parents and students are exuberant, sometimes tearful, excited about being here, they're actually out of the parking lot right around 7:05, 7:10. And that's when you can have that flurry of 10th, 11th, and 12th graders coming in. Students are eager. One of the things that I love about Columbia River High School is on the first day, almost everybody is on time. And this is a reminder for everybody, be early, be ready, and be flexible. The parking lot gets nasty. We have sent out, Ken Roberts has sent out the parking assignments, and those are there for you. Teachers and staff are closest to the building, and then the students and guests can park in the unassigned spaces at this time. Students have not been assigned parking. Only juniors and seniors are going to be allowed to park on campus, and it is a closed campus. So those three reminders: park close to the building, and be flexible. It's going to take us a couple of days. The dismissal on the first day is always pretty garbled up. So keep that in mind when you're leaving on the first day. First 10 and last 10 of class and all that in between. So we spent quite a bit of time with social emotional practices, CASEL, and the recommendations of a warm welcome, engaging activity, and a hopeful closure. I want to make sure that there is a do now activity in each classroom. So we start off with that name template and that name activity. My recommendation, you fold that hot dog style so you have a longer base, a bigger base for that name tent. So that's just a pro tip for you. Students are going to be carrying those from classroom to classroom. That is a warm welcome. What we know is that students and families always appreciate when they're greeted with a smile. And we have worked really hard on making sure that administrators and security are at each of the doors in the morning greeting people. We call it our morning welcome, and we're going to continue to do that. Join us if you would. It's a good time. That leads into the engaging activity, and that activity with the name tents. It's going to be important that we do that, and we do a warm welcome in each of our rooms throughout every day of the school year. The name tent activities for the start. When we have that inevitable shuffle of students, it's going to be important that those practices are in place. And if there is an experience that a student starts to develop a relationship and really falls in love with that first class or second class that they have, or third class, and that ends up changing, they've at least experienced a similar activity in a different room. That's the beauty of the tier 1 systems. And finally, hopeful closure. Making sure that we end on a good note each day, and there's a promise of tomorrow. So number 3, awareness of your community practice, community up practice in the PLC. So we haven't talked a whole lot about homework. We haven't talked a whole lot about syllabi and reviewing syllabi with students, syllabus. that you may or may not have ready for that first day, and that's okay. We can go slow to go fast. Lean into the PLC, lean into your communities of practice for those types of things. And we're in it together. Fourth, have fun with your new students, and fifth, have more fun. So we want this to be an enjoyable experience, and we're really excited about this school year. I want to share just a bit about the evaluation cycle, because Kim did a great job putting these slides together, and it's an important process that guides our work in partnership with administrators and with classroom teachers and with our support staff as well. So this particular set of slides from this point forward is all about the teacher eval process. So it is a cycle with the self-assessment, determining an area of focus for both a personal goal and a professional goal. We will talk in depth about the process of a student growth goal cycle, leaning into your PLC, leaning into your community of practice. The idea of these formative and targeted evaluations leading to a summative experience is much more about the side-by-side partnership. So the formative is the longer of the two styles of evaluation that we've been trained in through the University of Washington Center for Educational Leadership, the UW-CEL, the 5 dimensions. So that implementation and support is intended to be a side-by-side experience, and then that analysis of impact is both the reflection together. So that means that we're not doing this all in one afternoon, right? We're separating and chunking the work and sharing the load. So this is the most recent year-long district approved, aligned with the state, activities around that teacher eval. And so this is the cycle as it's, September, October, and then October to December, January, February. Those are 2 cycles. It typically ends at the end of the first semester, that first cycle. If you're on a comprehensive evaluation, you'll have 2 cycles that would end in the springtime. So first semester, second semester is fairly easy to remember. You'll do a self-assessment in the eval system. So again, the framework is the University of Washington 5Ds. The evaluation system that we use is through OSPI, and I will show you the login screen in just a second. But these systems are intended to work in partnership and together. One of my favorite songs here. Teacher completes a self-assessment. You'll be doing that before the end of the month of September. We will be sitting down and setting some goals with you. You can't do it wrong. It's just a simple process of just looking at the year. It's a lot to think about, and we don't want to overwhelm you. Okay, so you want to be thinking about your strengths and opportunities for growth this year, and we can all experience both. I will just highlight here where we're talking about the teacher-student and content relationship. We will hold a pre-observation meeting, which is just you explain what's going to happen in your lesson, talk about your success criteria, your learning target, and how you're going to engage students, and then how you're going to go about assessing. You may ask for 1 or 2 particular areas for support or just observation first, and then we'll sit, talk about what we see, talk about our shared experience. We'll code and possibly score. We won't score every lesson in the moment, but we will possibly kind of see where things land in the rubric. And then all those sessions will end up building a summative evaluation in the month of May. One of the things that I'm really excited about is the idea that we are going to have more time, more resources this year. We have some things in place, some support systems in place that will free up for some instructional rounds and opportunities for teachers, if they would like to observe other teachers and participate in a non-judgmental, non-evaluative, just observation session where we're just looking at teaching and learning in one another's classrooms. Those are rich conversations, and that is often the difference in a good experience and feeling like you're getting the feedback from a trusted colleague. And again, non-evaluative and non-judgmental. So we'll begin to put some small groups together. It may be people from outside the building that come in and want to observe. So we'll be doing that all together. That won't start until mid-October. So we'll have some time to talk about what that's going to look like. Throughout this process, you'll be collecting artifacts. If you recall, when I put out that 100-day draft, there's a couple of sections in there about there's an artifact that could be attached to a particular activity. So if it's a norm setting and initial goal setting session with your PLC, and that is something you want to take into your student growth goal, and that is something ideally something that's going to help inform your practice throughout the year. Certainly, that is an opportunity to collect that as a artifact in looking at that area of focus. And so again, that second round of observations beginning in February would be the second round. Again, there's a difference between a focused and a comprehensive evaluation. We'll talk about where you land. I'm going to put that roster together, and it'll default when you log into the eVAL system. And we will be able to make some adjustments if we find something is inaccurate or doesn't fit. So we'll score each indicator. We will prepare that final summative evaluation. That will be much later in the school year, probably in the month of May at the earliest. And then we'll meet and talk at the final session. So as you can see, we have the 4 categories, or the 4 layers there. And here's a little bit more on the focused evaluation. You can see that really cool graphic that's got the lens there. This is our current roster of who's evaluated in which group. We will be continuing to update that roster. As you know, there's been some changes, and we want to make sure there's balance and that we're all set up for success. This is what the EDS system sign-in looks like. You're seeing this on the screen and not the eVAL system up because I had to reset my password, and I'm working against the clock here with the race that's going on downstairs. So we can work on that together, but you will be able to log into eVAL through the EDS system. Okay, and so that's where it all begins. All right, so that's it for now. Let me go back a couple of slides here and just reminders about that first day. Be early, that first 10, last 10. Have an awareness of your community of practice and the support of your PLC. Have some fun with your students, and also have some fun with your colleagues. There's only one first day, so let's make it a great one. Have a great night, and we're gonna bust out a little MC Hammer.